Hello, everyone, and welcome to issue number 88 of Anti-Life Reviews, the longest-running comic book review show on YouTube. Do I have any facts to back that up? No, just take my word for it. We continue with Captain America month here in July. After the Murders on the Moors story, we move a number of years ahead to Captain America issues 445 to 448. They're published November 1995 to February 1996 with a story entitled Operation Rebirth. So go ahead and subscribe right now and get ready for another action-packed Captain America romp. The writers and artists on these comics, writer is Mark Waid. I'm sure I've spoken about Mark before. He's a legendary comic book writer that occasionally gets overlooked with his work on things like Kingdom Come and Epic Flash Run, Spider-Man, The Avengers, Fantastic Four, and so much more. A shockingly consistent writer that has an incredible knowledge of comic history, really understands the characters he writes. Art on this is Ron Garney, a competent artist that worked almost exclusively with Marvel Comics from the mid-90s to the early 2010s. He has that strange 90s Todd McFarlane feel to him that I don't in particularly love, I gotta be honest with you, and I will only tolerate it here. But he's not a bad artist, it's just not my style, and it gives me flashbacks to the battle days of the comics in the 90s. Starting off, we see the funeral of a presumed dead Captain America. A nation mourns as they bury an empty coffin in Arlington. We see the real Cap burst out of some ice, a la Avengers issue 4, in an unknown laboratory. Thankfully, his shield and costume are there. He also finds Sharon Carter there, who has been presumed dead for years. She's quite curt with him for the remainder of the issue. Her team, with an unknown leader, had secretly saved Cap and removes the old super soldier serum that had killed him. Cap wonders if he's still the man he was, and Sharon tests him with some 90s ninjas, scientists, muscle dudes, whatever. Cap does poorly, thinking he's weaker than he's ever been. Sharon then takes him into a portal, and together, like old times, they dispatch some obligatory bad guys. Cap says he feels the serum reactivating in his blood, which means he got a blood transfusion. There's only one man who would be capable with the Red Skull, who arrives, and is the man Sharon is working for. Him and Cap engage in a small fight, and Cap again does poorly. The Skull says he isn't happy to work with Cap, but they have to fight a common enemy. We see a giant evil compound. It's evil for no reason, but everyone is shocked. The team then moves into the compound. The enemy has the infamous Cosmic Cube, and the enemy, a cabal of Nazis called the Cube Cult. 2 Ks. And we learn about how Hitler's mind is inside the cube. Why? I'll give you a quick rundown. Hitler dies. They clone him, they put his mind in the clone. The clone's name, Hate Monger. Hate Monger and the Skull work together on the cube. Skull says nah and puts Hate Monger's mind in the cube. Seems like a great idea. The Cube Cult somehow know this, and they want Hitler back. Why? So the Skull is worried this new Reich won't be on his side due to the aforementioned treachery. The team dives into battle, but the bad guys get away with the cube. So after some torture by Sharon on a grunt, they know where to go. On the way there, we learn that all these years Sharon was undercover thanks to S.H.I.E.L.D. doing degrading and horrifying things. All the while, Cap thinks she's dead. They infiltrate a U.S. Army base. The cube is used to turn the troops evil, ? And Sharon steals the cube and leaves as the Skull and Cap engage in battle. We get lots more battle against vague, evil, Nazi guys, including your 90s giant mech guys. Gotta have those. Skull is captured, but Cap saves him from being killed, and now they are even, life for a life. They find Sharon on a teetering scaffold for some reason, but she's going to destroy the cube? Why did she run off then? That's what they were going to do. That's sort of the point. She gives it to Cap, who imagines Bucky is alive, but oh no, turns out the Skull actually has it, and of course he's evil. We move on to a recap of Cap's beginnings, but he's now in the cube. The end game of the Skull wants is Cap to kill the Hitler inside the cube, and in the corruption, so the Skull will have a clean cosmic cube, essentially. So we get 2 stories, the Skull and Sharon escaping from the new Nazis, as well as fighting each other, with Sharon getting smacked down, and Cap inside the cube living his best life with all his old buddies, hunting down Hitler until Ghost Bucky tells him, this is all bullshit. So Cap escapes from the cube, beats the shit out of the Skull, and breaks the cosmic cube. Sharon and Cap clean up the mess and drive off to confront S.H.I.E.L.D., but why Sharon was kept a secret from Cap and a captive to the horrors of the world. Alright, well, yeah, Cap himself was a little bit not really a person here. He was totally reactionary. He just kind of went with stuff. He barely questioned that he was dead and everything. Just kind of shrugs and goes along with the increasingly confusing story. I wasn't thrilled with this cap, thankfully, though. This is right after they got rid of that god-awful 90s armor everyone was forced to wear. This was the issue they got rid of it. He had worn it because he was weakening due to the super soldier formula killing him, but it looked god-awful. It was worse than Spider-Man's. Sharon, how unceremoniously a return we got for her. She'd been dead for some time, and suddenly, there she is, and she's mad, and it's Cap's fault even though he had no idea. She kind of obviously comes around by the end, but still, it wasn't very interesting. She had giant hair, skin-tight outfit the 90s required. The skull looked good. He looked like a hulking monster. I liked it. And his plan in the end kind of made sense. Save Cap, put him in the cube, have him do what he was born to do, kill Hitler. I liked the concept. His execution left a lot to be desired. The Hitler hate-monger stuff is canon, historically, so I don't have much to say about that. The art also left a lot to be desired as well. It's that gaudy 90s crap. And the action was just, it would be like 15 panels on a page. So the action was like an elbow, a shadow. We didn't get to see half of the fights. The bad guys didn't have any pupils, just like white eyes. It's weird. I know it's supposed to make them look evil, but it didn't work for me. The art kept me far out of the story, which wasn't all that good. Nothing gets to land. We have Cap not dead, Sharon not dead, Skull is back, and it all moves so quickly to the next action, we can't care. We don't get a panel to linger and let things sink in. It's just boom, 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 boom. Let's move forward. There's no pacing to the art. There was no pacing to the story. But the art was really just, it was too frantic and not enough happened for that to be the case. Bill Clinton is one of the men who are holding Cap's coffin at the beginning, along with Cyclops, Black Widow, The Thing, and Rick Jones. Cyclops, Bill Clinton? What the hell was that? Overall, I don't really have much more to say about this. It was messy, slightly confusing. I mean, it came together near the end. That did little to make me enjoy it. It wasn't a difficult read, just boring and sloppy. I would probably not recommend this when you're some kind of a Cap completionist. A bit disappointing on all fronts here, I gotta be honest with you. Well, that was week 3 of Captain America month with Operation Rebirth. Do you think they cloned Hitler's brain in real life, or do you think that funny little fella is? Let me know down below. Let's check out my Patreon where you can support me for as little as $1 a month and get your own reviews, of course. I have an Instagram under Demon Peaks where I post daily Twin Peaks memes. Take a gander over at the Dark Peaks podcast, which is, of course, my podcast. Come back next week for the final week of Captain America month where I look at Avengers Under Siege. This has been the Tona Makaya, Master of Minds and Men. Thank you very much, and goodbye.